Okay, today we are playing a game on King's Row. We are playing Zarya the entire way through, and this is technically two quick play games put together, so the SR is kind of, who knows, who cares, really. Also, because it's a quick play game, two quick play games put together, I should say, both on King's Row. We care even less about our team comp than usual, so instead of focusing on why our team is bad and should feel bad, we're just going to go over to the email, which has several questions about how to play Zarya, and we're just going to talk about them right at the top. So, first off, how to position yourself. Front, back, flanking, yes, no, etc. As far, you want to be up with your front line, so if you've got a Diva or a Reinhardt, you're standing up next to them, and you're supporting them as much as possible. Zarya is not a tank. She is a tank, but she's very supportive at the same time. So you're always with someone else and trying to help them. So if your tank is up at the front line, which, they're gonna be. If the other tank is up at the front line, you're up at the front line helping them. Unless somebody's on your back line, in which case it's your job to go and help them, not the other tank. It's Zarya's job to go and help the back line. Because Zarya is very supportive. She's very good at protecting people, and protecting people has the added benefit of giving her charge as well, which is very important for Zarya. Flanking, no, never. Zarya has no mobility, and she is very dependent on having charge, and one of her abilities is flat out useless if you're by herself. So, no, never flanking. When to be aggressive and when not, very straightforward answer. If you have high energy, be aggressive. If you don't have high energy, play passive until you have high energy. Very straightforward. Target priorities, who to focus and who to avoid. Basically whoever you can get at. Because Zarya, she's got no mobility, you just have to walk at them. So even when you've got high energy, you want to be aggressive, but you can't just walk straight past the tank into 6 people and start fighting people. You're gonna get killed doing that. So it's really whoever you can get at. If there's a Diva, she's like number 1 priority for Zarya because you just wreck Diva. She's just a big old battery that you get to bully around. The biggest priority is if someone is on your backline, you go and help them. So Genji, Winston, whatever, you go help with that. That's like your number 1 priority. And then everything else is just whoever you can get to. Who to avoid? Basically just Reaper. Reaper will wreck you. And it used to be that if Zarya had high energy, she could kill a Reaper, and that can still happen, but the Reaper has to be bad. And I find it's best to just assume the other team knows what they're doing until you're shown otherwise. So avoid Reaper. He's kind of the only one, really. Theoretically, you'd have to avoid Roadhog, but the Roadhog situation. Bubbling priorities. This is the hardest part about Zarya, because Zarya is a very simple hero mechanically, right? Put the laser over their face, right-click them if they're too far away, push Q in the biggest group of people you can get. Very straightforward. The biggest thing is bubbling people. What I'll say is prioritize getting charge the most. There are times this is not true, but that starts getting very specific and hard to describe just straight up. Just prioritize getting charge the most. You do want to use your bubble you want to use your E to protect other people. So a big thing about Zarya is she can correct other people's mistakes. If somebody gets hooked, if somebody gets flashbanged, you bubble them and they don't die. So there's something to that where you don't always want to just use it to get charge if you think somebody else is gonna need protection in the near future. Or if you're trying to coordinate a dive comp and Winston's gonna jump in, then you bubble him as he goes in. But what I'll say is just while you're learning to play Zarya, just prioritize getting charge, and then you'll learn when you want to hold your E, just as you play Zarya, basically. There are times you want to hold it, but for the most part, just prioritize getting to high charge. Frontlining versus aiding the supports, very straightforward. You have to aid the supports. That's your job to go and aid the supports. So if the backline needs help, you go and help them. If they don't need help, you go stand up on the front line. Very straightforward. Zarya you're always with someone. Because one of her abilities is just useless if you're not with anybody. She needs other people to help get charge. She's a very supportive hero, and she's one of the best she's one of the best heroes to play solo as well, because she's pretty independent at the same time. She's got 200 regenerating hit points, so she doesn't, and she's got the bubble. If you, fun fact, if you have taken damage, if you use shift, even if the shift bubble takes damage, that doesn't reset your shield's regen, so you can be regenerating under your bubble. So she's pretty independent because half of her hit points are regenerating, and she does a fucking lot of damage if she's high charge. She's like the best DPS in the game if she's high charge. You can correct other people's mistakes, and your ultimate will carry the most uncoordinated of teams through anything. But a lot of it's just always be with someone helping them, because you are more of a support than you are a tank. You're always gonna be with somebody helping them. If it's your front line, yeah. If it's your support, if your back line needs help, you go help them. So hopefully that answers your questions. If it doesn't, please, let me know. I'll expand further, whatever. But I find Zarya, once you, Zarya is one of those, heroes that's not terribly hard to play. There's just sort of an initial learning curve to her, I would say. Here's also a tip that I find just immediately improves Zarya play. Try not to use your bubbles predictively, try to use them reactively. Because what a lot of Zarya players do is they go, oh, I'm about to take damage, or oh, that guy's about to take damage, and then they bubble the person or themselves and just try to take damage. And then, but if the person hasn't started shooting at them, it's easy to just go, oh, the Zarya bubble, wait. Now start shooting. If they've already started shooting at the person, it's harder to stop yourself from shooting than it is if you haven't started. Also, if they were shooting at the person already, they will at least do some damage to them, because they're not going to react immediately. Like the frame the bubble goes on, they aren't going to stop shooting. They're still going to shoot the bubble at least once or twice. So you'll get more charge out of that. Just wait until either you or the other person starts taking damage, and then bubble them, and that's going to get you more charge. I'm not saying wait till you or the other person are half dead, but just wait until damage starts happening, and then bubble, and then you're gonna get more charge off of it. Because getting the hardest part about Zarya, and easily the most important part, is maintaining high charge, because that's the skill gate on Zarya. Everything else is very straightforward. But if you're always walking around at less than 50% charge, you're just not doing anything. You're tickling people. Also, that's what I consider high charge. Above 50% charge is when you start actually doing damage to people, basically. So once you've got 50% or more, that's when you can start playing more aggressive. So hopefully that answers your questions. If not, let me know. So, let's start the game. So we're attacking King's Row first. Our team is fucking terrible, by the way, just so you know ahead of time. I'm pretty sure we've got a Torbjorn right now. It's all that business. Oh, this is most recent patch, so we're gonna see some Doomfists running around. I'm gonna basically say nothing about it, because I don't really know anything about Doomfist yet. So, don't expect any startling insight into Doomfist. I don't play on the PTR. Because PTR is, it's a complete shit show. So, right here, we, very much use our bubble, predictively, because we start lasering this guy in the back. He hasn't even turned to look at us yet, and we bubble ourselves. No, that just ends up doing nothing. Pretty long cooldown. So you want to try and get some charge out of it, if nothing else. So we just got smacked by fucking Doomfist right there and sent right back out the door. We were also playing quite overly aggressively, just jumping over the balcony and start chasing after Hanzo over here. If any of his team is over here, they punish us for that. And yeah, this is quick play, so it's they're not really gonna be. And we're probably not worrying about it that much, because it's quick play as well. Damn, Doomfist just that's pretty brutal, right? Just mostly kills the Zarya straight up, smacking her once. So yeah, we've got a Torbjorn, so that's cool. They've got 2 snipers, it's a quick play game. So this Hanzo at this point is probably fucking hell, just go away. We are playing too aggressively, because we're going in with 0 charge right now, so this is already bad, because we've got 0 charge. What are we gonna do? We're gonna tickle this guy. This is basically the equivalent of us just holding up a laser pointer in a cat's face, ooh, it's not doing anything. And we also don't want to be flanking because we're playing Zarya, who has 0 flanking capabilities, basically. Well, I guess not technically 0, but very, very close to 0. Like 5% flanking capability. So, team's gotten fucked up over there a little bit, you know. Oh, Venom Mine just, like, right in front of our face. Gets our Torbjorn turret that we have. That's always funny to me when I see that one in the kill feed right there. The good old headshot scatter arrow. Because that means that the initial arrow hit him in the head and killed him. Which is always very funny, because if you see it, it's just like arrows explode out of their face. There was a point in time where the shrapnel off scatter arrow could headshot. Isn't that a terrifying thought? Thank goodness that stopped happening. So, here's Doomfist. I still don't know what this guy really does. I feel like he in some way is punching based, but I'm not 100% sure. He might be a Taekwondo expert, I wouldn't know. So, enemy team, like, not really mostly dead, accidentally dodged the Reinhardt right there. So the biggest issue we're having this game is that we're trying to do stuff while we have 0 charge. And it's just not to be. If you've got 0 charge, you're the worst hero in the game, basically. Zarya's pretty feast or famine, in a way, really, because it's like, well, she's either the best or she's the worst, and there isn't very much in between. So if you've got no charge, you gotta, like, play passive until you've got more charge. At the same time, we've barely seen our team, really, so it's kind of hard to build charge when you can only use your own bubble that much, but, you know. So we have a Doomfist over here now as well. I don't know if we always had him or if we have just gained him, but he is here now. Doomfist feels like he's got to be pretty good to have with a Zarya, because, Doomfist has got to be pretty easy to kill. He's fucking huge, and he's only got 250 hit points, so just having a shield to cover him as he goes in, like, either, like, doing his dash in or, ulting in, having the bubble there is probably going to be pretty helpful. Also, just imagine the play of the games that are going to be gained from, like, Graviton 6 people. They can't get out of it anymore because the new buff is, like, sick. Just straight on them. Just slam dunked. Side point. If Doomfist doesn't at some point get a basketball skin, I'm gonna be so fucking disappointed. Cause is it not just, like, right there, just slam dunk ultimate. Just dunk the ball right on their fucking head. Easy money. I'll be so disappointed. So there's Doomfist ulting right there. You don't get a lot of warning on that, do you? You've got like a 1.5 seconds warning before he lands on you. So if you're in the center and he starts, you're getting hit. Unless you've got mobility, I guess. So, like, a lot of ultimates just happened over here, Emp and everything, but, like, the team was mostly dead. So, again, we're walking around with, like, 0 charge, basically, this entire time, which is very much the issue with, Zarya. You don't want to be 0 charge. It's very sad, just, like, coming out with the laser pointer, like, ooh, are you annoyed yet? I'm like, oh, stop it. Stop it. They have 2 snipers, which also makes it rather difficult, because it's rather hard to do the, wait until they start taking damage, when them taking damage can just be them dying. You do also want to try and bubble someone if they're going in, like Doomfist right there. You know, if you're in a dive comp, Winston's going in, you bubble him. Reinhardt starts charging in, bubble the Reinhardt, that kind of business, but I imagine that part's fairly self-explanatory. So I would have probably ulted right there, because that's an opportunity right there to catch 3 people, one of them's Lucio. Yeah, they've got sound barrier on them, but not full sound barrier, and even a full sound barrier doesn't necessarily save you from the Graviton. So I'd probably ult them right there, because 3 people is like a perfectly acceptable Graviton. You can Graviton 2 people if it's 2 important people. Like if you're gonna catch, Mercy and like Soldier or something. Mercy can't get out anymore because Zarya's ult doesn't have the best ult in the game. So that's pretty cool. The Doomfist getting hacked is one of the more tragic things I have to imagine also. So we're currently going after this Lucio. This is ordinarily fine, but we're at almost no HP right now. We're coming at this guy, got 100 HP. Lucio could have just straight up killed us. And we're gonna get dunked right there. So, that's not really allowed. It would be allowed if we had more hit points, especially since we had 50% charge at the time, so that's when you can start bullying people around. But we didn't have the HP to bully people around, so we needed to exercise some more caution there. So we do have Graviton still, which is cool. Enemy Widowmaker just used her ultimate, we just heard that, so that's very spooky. Almost shot us in the face, but she didn't quite. Yeah, you can try and, like, sneak some charge off of a Widowmaker walking out into the open like that as well, but, you know, predicting is still kind of inconsistent. Good old Doomfist over there, just getting chewed on. Health kit's not here, very upsetting. Don't shoot your laser, because basically we want to hide here until this appears. So Hanzo is, like, right there, is what we've just learned from that one, since it just appeared right in front of us. Threw his skill at us, didn't collide, good times. So we ult these 3 people instead. We don't know where our team is at, but it's not like our team really benefits that much from the Graviton, except for Doomfist. Like, look at these fools. Oh god, what an ugly looking team that is, Jesus Christ. It's quick play though, you know, whatever. At least we don't have a Torbjorn anymore, right? I'm pretty sure he changed to Widowmaker, so you know, he's that guy, but... So we gotta walk all the way back over here now. This is, you know, this sometimes does happen on King's Row on the second checkpoint, where, attacking team gets it way to right up there, and then gets killed. Suddenly the attacker's spawn is also a billion miles away, so it can sometimes be hard to, like, finish this checkpoint. But it got finished before we even got over here, so good times. Doomfists, both Doomfists are having the fucking time of their lives right now, just like doing Shoryukens and shit. Doomfist has got some of the best sprays in the game, also, as a side note, because, they're like all references. Like, go and look at Doomfist sprays. Like, every one of them is a reference to something. So we're trying to run after this Widowmaker, which is not really to be. Then we ended up getting booped in really far. Right there. Like, you're not like, she's already gotten away from you by that point, and then we keep chasing after her. We should be standing on the payload, because the payload's been back there with no people on it right now. We're like the only tank on our team, so we're gonna have to be the ones that stand on the payload. And just like chasing after a Widowmaker is generally not gonna be for a Zarya, because, you know, pretty short range, no mobility. So we bubbled the person that's on the ground right there, managed to get a juicy 40% charge off of it, and now we're at 65% charge. Now we can just start shooting these fools. Well, we're not shooting these fools. We do very little shooting. We do a lot of just pointing it at them like, ooh, you fucking feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? We did get shot at by very many snipers as we were going through. And it starts getting spooky kind of early on. Like, it's already kind of spooky right there, because Widowmaker at that point can start trying to one-shot you. But by this point, we're kind of all in, and we just have to try and get through here. Oh, skill. Just throw your skill in the room, see what you can get. Oh, got Zarya. Good times. It's high noon, apparently. Even though it's the middle of the night, you know. I'm so glad that D.Va's got a line that's like, I think your clock's broken. Finally, someone has the guts to tell McCree that it's the middle of the night, it's not fucking high noon, it's high moon. So we're not allowed to do what we do right here. Bastion lets us get away with it, because he doesn't just start mowing us fucking down immediately. Like, yeah, try and get some charge off him, that's cool and all, but then we just keep going at him. And, like, Reinhardt lets us do it as well, because Reinhardt stops blocking for him, and then Bastion stops shooting at us. But then we just get sniped, because they have 2 snipers. So that feels bad, but like the Bastion should have also been able to just like chew us up for doing that as well. It's just him and Reinhardt kind of let us get away with it. So we kind of thought Lucio was hiding in the corner right there, I think, but you know, whatever. So Translocator just got chucked right there. That doesn't look like a very good use of company resources, but you know, whatever. So we didn't check what was going on in this area, and we've just turned around to see some very unfortunate business right behind us. So, the moral of that story is, like, check what's in the closet before you go and hide in the closet, because, you know, we've been in a very awkward position. Fortunately, they looked just as surprised as we were, so we sort of got away with it. We've almost got Graviton built up again, which is very cool. Oh god, wolf, dragons, not wolves, he doesn't have the skin. Come right at us and they kill us. Doomfist getting fucked up before he even goes in. Bastion gets away with, like, 3 hit points, very sad. So we've almost got Graviton built up, which is cool. Graviton, slowest charging ult in the game, not exactly surprising it's taken this long to build up. Well, it charges very quickly if you can have a lot of energy. Because we've all played against the Zarya where we've been like, fucking hell, she has it already? But if you're walking around like fairly low charge most of the game like we have been, it's not surprising that you don't get to use that many Gravitons. It varies a lot from game to game, because some games are really easy to maintain high charge, and some games are really hard to maintain high charge, and that greatly impacts whether or not you're going to build up very many gravitons. Same is also true if they have, like, a diva. That's just going to increase the amount of gravitons you get to use. So it's high noon again, we've just been informed. We just barely survived, but then he threw the pocket sand at us, and he killed us. So that feels bad. So, you know, our team's probably still going to go in. We can see Doomfist over here thinking about it. Yeah, that wasn't very smart right there, was it, Doomfist? I don't think I would have recommended that one. Just goes full tilt right into it, into the Bastion. So, we're coming around the backside right now. Got Graviton. Misaligned and probably unnecessary because, well, yeah, it's unnecessary because suppose we hit these fools, suppose we beamed that, we just chucked that Graviton right into Bastion and Reinhardt's back. They wouldn't have moved, and they wouldn't have been terribly upset about it, because they would have still been in a perfectly fine position, because it would have still been Bastion right next to Reinhardt. So, misaligned, which is unfortunate, but also probably unnecessary anyway, because it wasn't really going to very much change our situation. So, Reinhardt there committed suicide, good news for us. Lucio over there getting comboed by Doomfist, but Doomfist did not seal the deal on him, even though he was a hacked Boostio that mostly died. So, we are now fighting McCree. It's very spooky to fight McCree if your bubble isn't up when you start the fight, because getting stunned feels bad. He doesn't even stun us. We do get stunned in this fight. It's coming. Because he waits. Pop. It's very spooky to start a fight against a McCree if your bubble isn't up. In general, you do want to be a little bit cautious if your shift isn't up and you're gonna start a fight with someone. Basically, you have to be really certain you're gonna kill them. Which, if your high charge is fairly reliable, as long as you're good at tracking and you're high charge, you'll kill most people, even if your shift is not up. But if you're not super confident that you're gonna kill them really quickly, you want to be careful if you don't have your shift up. So, May's here right now. May is also, that's of importance to us, because going back to correcting people's mistakes, if you see somebody's gonna get frozen by May, you save that person. So, we do have to be keeping tabs on the May to try and make sure she doesn't kill people. Right there, she's killing, Sombra, but our E was not up, so sucks to suck, doesn't it, Sombra? So, we are going in right now. Okay, so we've got high charge. Here's the thing, though. Well, we've got high charge, but now we've got high charge. We're going in, not very healthy. We're going into the enemy team. There's a Mei here. We don't have our shift to block the ice. And we, didn't have much of our team with us. At the same time, we had to keep touching the payload just to make sure the game didn't end, but better going on to the payload and, like, playing around that instead of, chasing after the Mei, basically. So, now we're playing the other game, so now we're defending on, King's Row, so the teams are, like, completely different, I imagine. Don't really know. Did the Roadhog buff go through? Honestly, I don't think the Roadhog buff is even going to make that much difference, because it doesn't really solve the issue that Roadhog is one of the least threatening people in the entire game. Actually, he's like the least threatening person in the entire game, really. Like, I have no respect for Roadhog anymore. If I'm the other day I got hooked as Mercy by a Roadhog in, like, fucking, Masters Diamond area. And, like, just pulled out my pistol and started shooting the Roadhog and killed the Roadhog. Like, it was very tragic. But, like, that a Mercy who got hooked can just pull out her pistol and fight the fool is very sad. So we are getting a little overzealous right there, exiting out of the choke point. We don't really want to stand up in this, in the gate on King's Row, because it's hard to stand in, generally, even if you have, like, a perfect setup, it's just really hard to stand in this area. So we don't really want to be up here, but, like, it's quick play, you know, so whatever. So here, we push, E on this dude, expecting him to take damage, and he ends up not taking damage, going back again to, better if you see them start taking damage and then use it. Because, you know, or when he's going in, because if we had it over there, that would have been good times to use it, but, you know, it's damn, so we used it here. So I went back to see what bumped us in. I think it was a Junkrat. What did bump us in? Oh, maybe it was, like, Winston, like, lined it up just right? I don't know. We got bumped in by something. It must have been Winston. That's very unusual. So we got bumped in real far. We were going out of the choke point also, which we don't want to do. We don't even want to be standing out next to the gate, because, it's not even really a choke point. I keep calling it that, but, like, it's not really a choke point, because it's so easy to get around. And so, like, not even, then you just sit on the other side and break your barriers and shit for free, because they just stand on the other side of the wall. But we were going out to try and, like, help Doomfist, who had, put himself into a pretty unfortunate location. Again, do we mean to put that on someone else? Yeah, we were trying to put it on that dude, and Symmetra ran in front of us. Feels bad, man. Happens. Poor Winston walks on a trap, gets bullied to death before he can get out of the trap. Doomfist just like, slap. I can't wait to play Doomfist. Doomfist is gonna be my jam. If you play League of Legends, you're gonna understand what I mean by this. I played top lane, which is a reason that I really like Reaper, because he feels like a top lane hero. Doomfist is also, like, a top lane hero, so I feel like I'm gonna fucking love Doomfist. I also generally really like heroes that are, like, high impact, but hard to execute. Like, I love Tracer. Tracer's, like, my favorite hero in the entire game, and, I was gonna be a Tracer main, it was gonna be great times, and I ended up starting playing Reinhardt, and it just happened. It just got pigeonholed into being Reinhardt, and now it's too late. So, Doomfist's where it's at. I'm gonna be the best Doomfist ever as soon as, you know, I'm allowed to pick him, which will not be much. So, most of our team is, like, dead right now, and they're kind of running at us with people that are scary. Because, Reaper obviously scary for us. Pharah, hard for us to kill, unless she fucks up. And Doomfist, she's probably pretty good against Zarya, unless Zarya's got high energy and her shift up. So we've heard the teleporter, so we're coming back. Like, you can probably fight, Doomfist and Zarya, but you'd have to start the fight with some energy, and you'd have to also have your shift up, because I feel like otherwise Doomfist is probably gonna kill you, even if you're high energy and you don't have your shift. I don't know, though. We'll have further testing required. Still can't play him in competitive yet. Even when he's allowed to be played in competitive, like, my computer doesn't load fast enough for me to be the one that clicks on Doomfist's face first, you know. So, whatever. So we are high energy right now. Doomfist just landed right behind us, slammed, dunked that Junkrat, and then got killed by Junkrat's passive. Ooh. Oh, sick counter pick strats, right? You pick Junkrat, and you just walk into the center of Doomfist's ult, so that he dies the second he lands. Ho ho! That's the cutting edge technology right there. Maybe when Junkrat gets buffed, we'll be able to play him. Probably not, though. I'm curious to see what they do to Junkrat to Doomfist, just because he just dunked that Pharah right there. That's gotta be pretty sick as well, right? Like, I'm gonna love seeing the highlights of Doomfist just, like, Shoryukening up into the air and just, like, swatting a Pharah out of the sky. That's gonna be sick. So, there's a Reaper coming up behind us right now. Probably pretty far away, though. This dude's over here, so we definitely want to kill this dude. Came at him with our shift up, high energy already. He's fucking done. Nothing he can do about it. Come back out just in time to see this happening. Don't use our don't use our E on anybody. That'd be a fair situation to just E the first person you see in this fight, because they are probably going to be having a bad time when you arrive, and indeed they were both having bad times when we arrived. Instead, we are, E that dude over there, who's in no trouble at all, and we don't even get any charge off of it. At least the other dudes would have given us some charge. That's now happening. That sucks. We're gonna die. Oh, do we not die? Oh, we don't die here. Oh. Well, I think we're gonna die now. So, fair enough. I mean, yeah, fair enough. It's only Winston and Mercy, and it's you and Symmetra, so it's not the spookiest thing in the world. I was like, kind of low HP. I'm like, but it is Winston and Mercy at this point, though. Do want to try and kill the Mercy first, but even if you started killing the Mercy, she was just gonna solo res the Reaper. But might have been able to, if you started focusing the Mercy, might have happened in a way that she didn't res the Winston. Rather than shooting into the Winston and killing him, but the angle also made it a little bit difficult. So we are very low HP right now. Miraculously, we didn't die for quite a while. Our team has managed to sort of get back, but, Junkrat, don't you have your ult? I thought Junkrat had his ult. Junkrat's got his ult. What you sitting around saying you need healing for, dog? Just, like, push yourself up against that corner and use your ultimate. Whatever, you know. I'm just saying, just because you're low health doesn't mean your tire has low health. I mean, it does, because it kind of sucks. But their team is bad at killing a tire at the same time. So we put shift on ourselves right there for no reason, and now we're getting punished for it because McCree's doing that. However, he used it too soon and he didn't kill us, probably because he was trying to kill someone else, but then we got punched in the face. Yeah, we were at no risk, so that was just a frivolous use of the shift, which did indeed get punished because then McCree appeared in the window and shot us, and then we got punched, and it felt bad. As getting punched generally does, I struggle to think of very many occasions where I enjoyed getting punched. Maybe that's just me, though. I don't know. So, we gotta walk all the fuck way back. We're a hero with no mobility. It's the second checkpoint on King's Row, so it takes fucking forever. You know, we know how it is. So we can hear our Doomfist doing something. I assume it was Doomfist. It was a sound effect I don't recognize, so it can only really be Doomfist. There's Doomfist over there doing his stuff at us with his little fist. Like, I find, like, watching Doomfist's first-person perspective very odd. Cause, like, I know his regular hand is probably fucking huge, right? But, like, right next to the Doomfist, it just looks like he has, like, a little baby hand. Like, it looks so tiny. Like, go and look at, like, Doomfist's perspective. His hand looks so tiny. Even though it's probably, like, bigger than my skull. It looks so tiny. Because it's right next to the other one. So Doomfist right there performed what looked to be an illegal maneuver where he, ulted, didn't kill anybody, and then was just sort of, fucked, really. Although, at the same time, it did do a very good job of zoning us into the enemy team at the same time and, like, separating us so we got killed. So, you know. Curious to see if what his ult pans out to doing. Because it seems like you can probably kill people or lead to people getting killed fairly consistently with it. Because you don't get very much warning before the marker appears. When the marker appears, I should say. Of course you wouldn't get warning before the marker appeared. So, maybe it ends up being one that kills people. Maybe it ends up one that's being good at zoning and not much else. Maybe it's... Though, if you got a Zarya, it's gonna be fucking sick, dude. And then anybody that, like, starts getting away, you just start punching them, right? It all works, it's all good times right there. So Doomfist did get behind us, and he did, in fact, bash us on the back of the skull. So we probably should turn around and try to address that. But at the same time, we were basically by ourselves at that point, so we were probably fucked regardless. Symmetra elected to put a shield generator up there, which is depressing news to us, because we still have to walk all the way back over there. It's not as far now, because they're nearly at the end of the track, but it's still further than we want to walk, you know? Like, honestly, maybe we should just get a bus. Like, it's pretty far, you know? So we did see somebody just come out of the doorway on the right-hand side there. Who was it? It's Doomfist. So we just walked right past Doomfist, charging up, whatever a button that ability is attached to. I don't know. Probably his shift, but I don't know. So we should address that, but it looks like we didn't notice it happening, and then he just got microwaved to death anyway, so it all works out, but awareness, we did walk past an enemy and didn't notice them. So, it's all gone pretty well, actually. Enemy team all dead now, as we may have noticed, which is fantastic news. Everything went a lot better than expected, especially considering they were 4v6 for a little while there before we got back. But everything was great. So now they have to come all the way back over here, which is fucking far for them because they're on the opposite end of the track now. Doomfist has just slam dunked Zenyatta, which is very sad for him. Then Reaper killed our Doomfist, which is not exactly surprising because Doomfist's a pretty big dude, you know? Den, slam dunk, pretty fucked at this point. Basically nothing we can do. We've got our ultimate. We don't want to use it, I was gonna say, because, we've lost this fight. Graviton is the sort of ultimate that you definitely don't want to use if you've already lost the fight, or if you've already won the fight. Because it takes a very long time to charge up. And so you don't want to commit it to a fight that you've definitely lost, like right there, we're already down 3 people and we're getting slapped, so it's not going to work out. And at the same time, if you've killed like half of them, probably don't need it anymore, or you can use it if they get rezzed or something. Very long charging ultimate. Don't want to use it in a fight you've already lost. So, fair enough to try and bubble that. Dude would have expected him to get slapped around. He just ended up not getting slapped around, which is very sad, but that was one of the ones that seemed like a pretty safe bet. It just ended up not panning out. So we have indeed been slapped around by Doomfist a little bit, right as this fight started, and that has led to us being tased to death by Winston. However, Winston is now dead. Winston is now alive again. Never mind, everything is terrible once more. Wonder if Junkrat's gonna turn into like a melee assassin, seeing as he can't damage himself with his own explosions. 2 charges of a mine, just like get up on somebody's face, just like sneak up on him, just like bomb him in the ass, and then just throw the mine in their face. Who knows, man? Who knows what's gonna happen to Junkrat? He's such a weird hero. So we managed to just sort of accidentally kill Doomfist there, which is always very fun. Then we got to we don't microwave him, we got to tase that guy to death. Well, it's not tasing either. We got to laser pointer that guy to death, and we are now running after this dude. Would have bubbled her sooner, because you can expect her to get flashbanged pretty immediately upon getting up on the McCree. He ended up holding it, and we ended up blocking it anyway, but she took a big chunk of damage. Would have bubbled her sooner, but, you know, all works out in the end anyway. So there's a Pharah up there. We can't really deal with that ourselves, but we do want to bear in mind that she's there. Who did we bubble? Who did we E right there? I wasn't really looking. Who did we E? That dude? No, he's not going to get attacked. This is very preemptive again, because, like, Winston's probably not going to commit to that one. And, oh, just get slam dunked, my friend. It's a little weird that, I understand why it is this way, but it's a little weird that Doomfist's ult doesn't get stopped by roofs. At the same time, though, there would be some maps he would be useless on, right? So, you know, fair enough. At the same time, it's just very odd to see something like that happen. So we got a little panicky right there, started like swinging around at the Reaper. If you're in Reaper's Death Blossom, he's probably gonna kill you as Zarya. You're not gonna get away from it. So, like, just, like, focus on lasering him, because your only way you're gonna get out of it is if you kill him before he kills you in that situation. There's the train of thought where if somebody doesn't need to aim to try and kill you, but you need to aim, like if you're getting chased by a Winston, there's no point doing all the juking and jiving stuff, because Winston's gonna hit you regardless. So you're better off just, like, moving very, like, very linearly, so that it's easier for you to focus on shooting his head. Similarly, if you're getting focused in the middle of Reaper's Death Blossom like that. At the same time, though, you might get fucked by other things that were happening. There he goes. Oh, he's dead now. He does look like, it looks pretty sick while he's floating around in the air and everything. He looks a lot like a fighting game character. He's got all the lightning arcing off him and everything while he's floating around, you know. He's got the Street Fighter input spray, does the Shoryukens. His highlight intros are also fucking sick. You seen One Punch highlight intro? It's fucking sick, dude. So, Pharah's doing this. That's happening over there. He managed to not kill us because he decided to kill Tracer, which, I mean, fair enough, I guess. Zenyatta trying his absolute hardest to pull us through it. Most of them are dead, but the ones that are still alive got to finish us off. It's very unfortunate that High Noon started happening after we'd used our shift, because unless we're clairvoyant, we're probably not going to hold it for that, so, you know, sometimes that happens and there's nothing for us to get out of the way. There's nothing for us to duck behind to get out of the way of it, so we have got Graviton built up right now. We preemptively bubble someone. Seems like a fairly safe bet that we're gonna get slapped by Winston, so not exactly, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Words are fucking hard, dog. So, no need to bubble ourselves, because the dude's not looking at us, so he's pretty unlikely to start slapping us. Doomfist is now here again, and God, does it feel bad that we're just, like, walking around, we're trying to do our thing, we're trying to get our groove on, trying to build up some charge, and then we get conked on the back of the skull and we're just, like, half dead suddenly. At least we're a tank, so we can take it, right? If you're, squishy, you just get killed. Like, doesn't his hand just look really tiny? Because it's right next to the hand, you know? So this is going to be a pretty exciting play of the game right here. Fun fact, if you run on lower settings, the highlights that you can save apparently have adjustable options, so you can crank them up to ultra, which is pretty cool. So, let's go away from this. Let's get back over to that. That's good. So, someone sit there and now, like, look at all the videos and try to decipher them. So, the biggest thing that stands out is, and, like, unsurprisingly, because there isn't that much to stand out for Zarya, usually she's a fairly straightforward hero, we're walking around with low energy a lot. Part of that is our team, being people that we rarely see. But, maintaining moderate high charge is the most important part of playing Zarya, so that's the biggest thing, maintaining charge. And basically, I would say to focus on that above all areas, because it is so integral to actually playing Zarya. You have to be high charge, or you're gonna do very, very little over the course of a game. So, try not to bubble people predictively, try to bubble them reactively. This is generally the sort of skill that just sort of comes from playing Zarya, though. You just sort of, she's a hero that benefits from having very good game sense. This is, back when Roadhog was, the one of the best heroes in the game. There was the idea that you should always play Roadhog if you're by yourself, because he can have the most impact on a game. I always said if you were not so good mechanically, you should play Zarya instead. If you're, like, more on the game sense meta side, you should play Zarya instead, because there is a certain baseline requirement to play Roadhog. If you can't hook people, you can't play Roadhog. It's kind of that simple. Zarya is very straightforward mechanically. She's very easy to play. It's generally very easy to track with, like, a laser pointer, you know, so there's that. Her ult is very easy to land. Her right click, you just spam into areas, you know? So, she's very easy to play. She's more about, like, game sense and meta knowledge and, like, anticipation and reaction. It's very little mechanical. It's very game sense. So, she's the sort of hero that you just benefit from having a lot of hours on, because then you just naturally develop this game sense over a prolonged period of playing the game, basically. So, focus on maintaining high charge, because that's the most important thing. And then, you know, we don't really ever see it. The most important parts for playing Zarya are maintaining high charge and making sure that you're rotating to help your team, whoever needs it. Because, I mean, it can get hectic if, like, you're playing against a dive comp, because if your backline, you're gonna need to transition quite frequently between helping your backline and helping your front line, so it can get very chaotic, as is generally the point if you're playing against a dive comp. So, focus on maintaining high charge, and then focus on rotating to help people in your team as they need it. Like, if your backline needs help, you gotta get over there quickly. Frontline needs help, get over there quickly. It's all game sense, it's all meta knowledge, so she benefits from playing a lot of her, basically. So, high charge, though, very important. So focus on that, mostly. And then the rotato potato. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If I didn't answer any of your other questions adequately, you know, let me know. I'll expand further. So, thank you very much for watching.